I call the shots, I never call it quits. Trust my intuition, bet it's right and bitch it often is. Seen too many others come and go, they had the wrong intent. Do it out of love and never for it, then I watch it get bigger than expected. Don't second guess it, I let it set it. It's God's plan, we out here only accepting blessings. I'm stuck with it, this mindset is terminal. In and out different terminals, leveling up is personal. And I already made it, y'all can miss me. It's hard to believe I made something from nothing. No hindsight discussions, I've been writing, I love it.
Welcome to the 3 Gig Sports Podcast, where we are never wrong, just sometimes misinformed. This is Danny G, sitting alongside my boys here, Rio and Jimmer, tonight. And we're going to kick this bad boy off with a fun interview. Pretty excited. This is about as close to home as it gets when it comes to a bigger school. So, Rio, go ahead and kick us off, man. Who are we talking to?
Yes, tonight we have Joey Ramos on, former Iowa State Cyclone, and now at Arizona State University. Joey, how's it going?
Good. How you guys doing today?
We're doing awesome.
Definitely.
Excited to have you on.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah. Have you kicked off spring ball down there yet?
I had actually just graduated on Friday from Iowa State. I stayed up here this past semester to finish out my degree.
Okay.
So I just graduated on Friday. Currently packing up my stuff and probably heading back home probably sometime this next week. Yeah, probably this next week I head back home and then just kind of start rolling from there.
Hell yeah. First off, that makes me appreciate you being on even more. Like, you have a lot of shit going on right now, and you squeeze this right into your schedule there. So we had – go ahead. I'm sorry.
I appreciate you guys just being able to fit me in. I appreciate it.
That we had a question right out of – like, when we were off air, we had a question here because we're new to all that type of stuff, and it is you are a graduate transfer, correct?
Yes, sir.
So when you go to Arizona State, are you going to be having to take any classes or anything? Like, how's that work?
So I applied into their MBA school. I mean, the big reason I chose ASU was because they had the academics that I was looking for. I'm looking to get a master's degree, so a master's in business. So I'm looking at the 3 schools I had considered in my top 3. They were all really, really good MBA programs that I was looking forward into. But ASU, they have a great sports law and business MBA program that I applied for. So hoping I get into that. And then if I do, I'm looking to get an MBA about a year and a half. So
it's a damn beautiful state too. Me and Danny went down and visited that wonderful state down there.
Oh yeah.
I did not realize that Arizona State is like it's in like Phoenix and Tempe.
It's in Tempe. Well, it's a really big campus.
It's a really big campus, isn't it? Like, I was kind of looking it up. Like, I didn't realize it was that big.
Yeah, the MBA program I'm looking at, I would be driving down into the heart of Phoenix to go to class.
Okay. Co-host over here, his brother and cousin, and actually a lot of your family live down there, but your cousin and brother live down in Phoenix, right?
Yeah, they live pretty much right in the heart of Phoenix, too. My brother was actually just camping this weekend up in they say Prescott. I always thought it was called Prescott.
Yep, Prescott.
But Prescott apparently is the right way to say it, right? He was camping up there this weekend. He said he got heat exhaustion, probably what happened. So make sure you keep yourself hydrated down there,
right.
Man.
Yeah.
It's early for that.
But you're used to it though, right? Because you're from Glendale.
Yes, sir. I'm from North Phoenix. I went to school in Glendale, but I grew up there. I've had my fair share of heat exhaustion through growing up, so I know what it takes to survive out there.
Definitely, man.
Well, so that kind of answers one of our questions. You grew up there in Arizona. When did you start playing sports?
Well, I did the non-traditional sports growing up. So, I mean, I tried soccer when I was little, got red carded. So I was like, that's not fun. That was too aggressive.
Right.
Dude, that reminds me of my son.
Yeah, check the box on soccer, tried baseball, just a little too slow pace for me. Tried basketball, got fouled out, same thing. I was checked that off the box. And then I started wrestling. So second, third grade, I started getting into more hand-to-hand combat, mixed martial arts type training. So I started wrestling in third grade, and then I think by fourth grade I was in jiu-jitsu as well. And then all during that I was also in boxing and kickboxing and stuff. So I was more of a non-traditional sport kid growing up. So my weekends were not basketball tournaments or baseball tournaments or football tournaments. They were wrestling tournaments, jiu-jitsu tournaments. So I didn't play football till I got to high school. And not a lot of people believe me when I say that, but I just kind of never found it fun until I was going against people that were my size, and I always was the bigger kid growing up. So everyone was like, check his birth certificate. I'm just same age as your kid. Your kid's just a little bit smaller than mine.
Right. So you got to just smash up on people is what? So that turned you on right away.
Oh yeah, basically.
So then it's fair to say that since you didn't play until high school, you're still learning the sport.
Yeah, I was blessed with a good offensive line coach in high school, and here's my father. So me and him football was always our thing in high school, and me and him would always just kind of. He was eager to learn as a coach, and it made me eager to learn as well as a player. So I had a great role model to look up to when I started playing football. I made really good connections with some trainers out there, like whether it's Scott Peters, Duke Manningweather, Charles Bentley, just some really big NFL O-line guy names, and even college guys. And then I ended up just connecting with a bunch of just great resources and great mentors through that journey of just trying to educate myself on the game.
So that's awesome. That being said, you said that you're a huge fan, and you actually partook in jiu-jitsu? Yes. Okay. So I also, I'm going to go ahead and say that I Twitter creeped you. I went through your page for a little bit, and it looks like you're an MMA fan too.
Oh yeah. It's kind of been, considering I didn't do traditional sports, that's kind of what I grew up around. So like UFC, I remember when the first few UFCs were out, super young, watching them, and I was like, man, that's so cool. I'd still watch football. But I was doing it at the time, so I was also seeing what they were doing. I was like, I wonder if I could do that. So
no, absolutely. So who is your favorite fighter? If I could, can I get your all-time favorite fighter, and then can I get your today's favorite fighter?
If I had to say, I would honestly have to say either Chuck Liddell or Tito Ortiz. Back when I guess roids were legal in the UFC.
Right. Bring them back.
Yeah. Hey, those dudes are probably the most fun to watch just because they would just stand and just brawl with each other. So.
Right, yeah.
And do you have one like nowadays that you're following that you're big on?
I wouldn't say I'm really big on anyone. I just kind of like to watch it. It's a great thing to get around with good buddies of mine, whether it's teammates or just old friends from high school or family. I don't really cheer for a specific person. I just like to see a good entertaining fight.
So that Rose fight wasn't very entertaining for you if you did watch it then?
I did watch it, and I was just kind of, everyone has their fight, and that was her fight to kind of give away. And I don't know. It wasn't very entertaining. A lot of people were hating on it. I'm not going to hate on it, as she tried to fight a strategic fight that shouldn't have been fought like that. So. Yeah.
Okay. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Definitely. So you get into high school, and did you just stick to football, or did you continue wrestling through high school as well?
So I continued wrestling up till my junior year. I started to get a lot of attention with football. I was even my sophomore year, I was like, I see a future with football more than I see a future with wrestling, just because my brother was the big wrestler in the family. I was the big football guy because when I got to high school, I started playing football. I was really good at it. So my sophomore year, I didn't get to wrestle all my matches. I was too busy traveling across the country to go to camps and stuff to try to get my name out there and just some type of exposure. And then I actually started to get the feedback from it. I started to get a few offers. And my junior year is really when I started to blow up in a way. A lot of schools were just talking to me. I was going to a bunch of camps, just kind of the last effort to get my name out there, exposure for all the coaches to see, whatever it might be. And then I was at wrestling practice once, and one of the heavyweights went for an awkward throw, and just kind of I didn't feel safe around it. My knee kind of buckled in a weird way, but I was perfectly fine. I was just like, you know what? If you're gonna do this, just because I'm whooping your ass, there's no point. I have a future with football right now, and no matter how much I love this, no matter how much I love wrestling, I had to step away from it to make sure football was secured for me.
Sure thing. Let's touch on that. Who was contacting you early on in the process, sophomore, junior year?
So I had my first offer at the end of my sophomore year of high school from South Alabama. They were one of the first schools to reach out to me. My first few offers weren't Power 5. They were South Alabama, Fordham University, and I think it was possibly UCF. I'm sure, I don't know. But those guys talked to me early my sophomore year, and then during the season, or during that summer going into my junior year, Iowa State was actually one of the first Power 5 schools to offer me. Iowa State and Nebraska were, and then just kind of from there blew up. The whole Pac-12 came knocking, a few Big Ten schools, a few SEC, and I was just I was always quiet around all these guys just because I was a sponge when they would talk and stuff, whether I'd meet them at school or whether it'd be a home visit or anything like that. But those were the schools that kind of talked to me early on. With the non-Power 5 schools were the first schools, and then Iowa State and Nebraska were the first Power 5. And after that, kind of blew up.
So you said the whole Pac-12 came calling, right? What made you choose Iowa State versus staying pretty close to home?
Matt Campbell and the O-line coach that I had committed to. Those dudes were just, I mean, when it came to talk, because I'm a very technical offensive lineman. I like to talk technique and the fine-tuning things of that type of position. And not a lot of coaches could do that, but when I talked to the O-line coach at Iowa State, me and him just kind of got on the same wavelength when it came to technique and stuff. And I felt super comfortable as an offensive lineman listening to him. And I was like, oh, yeah. Me and him could probably go back and forth for hours when it came to offensive line talk. And that really stuck out to me compared to some of the other coaches. And, I mean, don't get it twisted. Some of the other coaches could have done it, but I felt like I had a better connection verbally. And, like, some of the things that he would say kind of just stuck with me a little bit more and made a lot more sense to me. So, and then also Coach Campbell's vision of changing the culture of a team and kind of making a program do a complete 180 and bringing real dudes into the situation. I kind of bought into that, and that kind of had me hooked.
So you kind of touched on exactly what my next question was going to be for you. Could you elaborate a little bit on the culture at Iowa State? 'Cause we've heard quite a bit about he's proud of bringing in his, he doesn't bring in 5 stars. He brings in guys that are hard workers and looking into the technically proficient part of their duty, wide receiver, running back, offensive lineman in your case, stuff like that. Could you touch on the culture there and like what it felt like to be a part of that university?
So the culture there was, I mean, when I got there, they had already started to make that transition of getting rid of all the toxic people who kind of were not playing as a team and were more focused on getting theirs and getting their bag and chasing their bag only and only kind of worrying about themselves. And as the years went on through the culture, even in the O-line room, we went from kind of the freshmen being scared to talk, and I'm sure the same was in the room. Some of the young dudes were kind of scared to talk because the older dudes were kind of a little toxic, but being at Iowa State, you could see that culture change to where we invited the dudes to talk and just kind of welcomed everybody and make everybody little to no cliques. And I guess because some schools have cliques and some position groups are like, oh, I don't want to hang out with this dude just because he's a receiver or a corner. Just that awkward beef where the culture there was everyone hangs out with everyone loves everyone believes in everybody, and we all trust each other to do what's best for each other, not for just themselves.
That is awesome. The fact that taking on, like, realizing that even fresh faces can still see something that can maybe help correct or help better the team, and actually taking that in. That's big, not just saying that that because otherwise you're acting like you already know,
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my biggest pet peeves, like especially if I'm training somebody and you hear the words, "Oh, I know." I'm like, "Oh, do you? Okay. Oh, fuck me. Go ahead and you go ahead and do you then. You don't need me. You don't need me when you run into a situation, right?" So
exactly.
So I love that part about that. Could you give me a little bit? Yeah, technically you did go back home at one point, right? To while you were with Iowa State, you played in the Fiesta Bowl, didn't you?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Could
that,
you?
that was awesome.
I was gonna say, could you just talk about that experience with us? Because I mean, that's a huge game. That was awesome for us. We're Hawkeye fans, a high majority, the two of us at this table, but we are proud Iowa fans. So if Iowa State isn't playing Iowa, we're rooting for Iowa State. And watching that happen, I was like, oh my God, this is so awesome. But could you just tell us about that experience and the game and everything like that?
Well, so to start it off, that was the COVID season, and the coolest part about that season was that none of us, the players, we didn't have any big COVID outbreaks, and we were one of the few teams that did not have to reschedule a single game or cancel due to having a COVID outbreak and having multiple cases and stuff. So seeing the culture change like that, how everyone was committed to staying within a bubble and focusing on, hey, football is the only thing that's guaranteed right now. School's all online. You can hang out with people later, but for these next 4 to 5 months, can you be the one that focuses? Can you be committed to the team to make this happen to where we don't have to back out of any games because we were selfish to do something so stupid as to go out or anything like that? So that year, it was awesome. I mean, it was my first year starting. I ended up getting hurt the 4th game against Texas Tech. I was starting at right tackle. Didn't come back till the Big 12 championship. That was tough. And then hearing the news that I got to go home for a bowl game, man, my face lit up. I was so excited.
I'm sure.
I didn't care who we were playing, but I heard Fiesta Bowl, and I was like, home. I was never happier. And then I got to see that I was playing against one of my dream schools, and I was like, oh, even better. Like, you can't even – I was like, I get to go play against my dream team in my home state in an NFL stadium with dudes that I love.
That's awesome. And for those who don't know who you played, who did you play in the Fiesta Bowl?
We played against Oregon.
Yeah. And hold on, played against is a strong word. You demolished
Oregon.
So I'm going to put it out there like that. You didn't play Oregon. You smashed Oregon, and it was big time.
Yeah, and even getting to play against Kayvon Thibodeau, 2nd-round draft pick, defensive end.
Wow.
Or first-round draft picks, like
fifth,
top,
right, or something.
Yeah, top 5.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yep.
I'm like, even like being on the field with him, I'm like, damn, there were some dudes out there, and I mean that game was awesome. Being home, a few of the dudes were from Arizona, so we were all just happy to be home. My family got to see me play firsthand, where they didn't have to fly all the way to Iowa or to an away game or anything like that. They got to just drive up for a game and hang out after. So that was really, it was definitely an experience I was happy for. I wish the COVID restrictions weren't as tight, so more people could have came and we could have had a little bit better of a bowl experience. But I mean, that year it was kind of strictly business for us, so we didn't mind not having to do all the fancy parades and all that.
Right, and you took care of business. That's awesome. And the fact that at least bare minimum, your family, family members were able to come in and partake with that too. So,
absolutely.
So I assume the whole family came to watch it, especially since it was in your backyard then.
Oh, yeah. The whole family showed up and even got a few extra tickets from some teammates who didn't fill them out and brought some extra family along.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
That is great, man. So here's my question about this past year in particular, right? First of all, Matt Campbell doesn't get enough credit for doing what he did. And I don't know if you hear any noise in the background, but we've got this ginormous bee, hornet, wasp thing going on in the garage. And so, Jim, I think he might have killed it, so we might be good to go.
Perfect.
All right. And but back on point, man. So Matt Campbell doesn't get enough credit. It's been badass to watch that whole program go from really, people treated it like a joke to being as good as you guys have been in the past few years. This last season, you guys had all the expectations of the world, right? I think when the season started, it was like, man, Iowa State could end up in the college football playoff, right? And all those different things. Talk about, I guess what I'm hoping for is if you could walk through some of kind of how the season went, because there were a ton of ups and downs, and it was a crazy season for you guys. Kind of talk about that a little bit and how you felt you grew, or maybe some things you wish you could have changed.
So the main thing I focused on this past season was my position group. Just making sure the O-line guys, because a team goes as far as an offensive line can go. making sure that we are all a unit this past year was kind of my main focus. I mean, other position groups have their flaws and everything, and we have our flaws, but is making sure that we stayed as 5 strong individuals, and then bringing the other individuals along with us that weren't in the starting 5. That was a major key to our own success. So that was kind of what I focused on this past season. And I know there were some injuries that were kind of bugging through some people. Some people were playing through some injuries, and some people got hurt before the season and couldn't end up playing. And I think that kind of bit us in the ass a little bit. And then just some unfortunate endings to games. Just most of the losses we had last year were 1-possession games.
Yeah.
And I mean, you hate to see it, but every dog has its day, and every team has someone's number. And I know a few teams were, and that's kind of what's been awesome about Iowa State, is a few teams were looking forward to playing Iowa State and saying we need to crush them because what they did to us this past year or something like that. So seeing Iowa State come from rags to riches basically is being, oh, we get to play Iowa State this weekend too. All right, guys, we got to play Iowa State this weekend. Seeing that transition was cool. But
not just seeing it, being a part of it and being a big part of that too, being part of like changing that culture.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I just think kind of some injuries got in the way of some people, and some people were trying to play banged up, and just kind of it just didn't really, the cards didn't play in our hand. And I mean, that's just kind of how football is. You can't really blame anyone but yourself. So I mean, I'm sure everyone has their own individual things that they wish they could have done better or improved on. But I mean, that's kind of basically it.
Your ability to, I'd assume that you guys had the ability to at least keep your heads up and keep plugging away and not getting down on each other, though, too, through all this adversity.
Yeah, absolutely. We always supported each other, whether we were winning by 1,000 or losing by 1,000. The main thing we never did was fold on each other and start pointing fingers at each other. We always stayed as a team, and we won as a team and we failed as a team. There was never an individual that was pointed out or blamed for a certain loss or a certain happening.
So the one thing, of the very few things that the state of Iowa is good for, we've been living here. I've lived here my whole life. So, but one of the very few things is that we are proud supporters of our universities. We back them. And what I'm getting at is, could you touch a little bit on the fan base, like how crazy it could be down there at Iowa State, whether it be like seeing the tailgating, the people in the stands, and maybe if you partook or went and watched some of the college basketball. Just could you touch on that a little bit?
I mean, the fans here at Iowa State they're unmatched, I'll be honest with you. I remember being told the history of Iowa State when there was 2-win seasons and they were still packing the stands. And then when we would start to get the ball rolling to where we were bringing in more wins and just kind of more excitement for everyone, just kind of seeing their energy go from crazy to even crazier. I mean, no matter what the conditions were, they were always there, whether it was raining for hours upon hours or it was an 11 o'clock game and they're tailgating at 6. No matter what, those fans were there to support us. And even when I would go to a few basketball games, just sold out, everyone just – energy has always been really good with the crowd. I mean, there was little to never – like it was very little – it was very, very rare for a fan base to turn their back on us, especially our fan base. They never once turned their back on Iowa State or any of the certain players. They're never like, this is the reason, this is the guy. They always loved and supported Iowa State players. So that fan base will probably be unmatched.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear.
Very cool. So we'll circle around back to the end of your high school career. And,
hold on. Have you told our guests what university you back there, Rio?
Oh, yeah. I'm a Texas Longhorns fan, so
you can tell.
I do like Iowa wrestling.
Hold on. That's where you're going to try to bail into this?
Just hate.
Hey, go. Could you? We're going to go ahead and let you know that you can let him know that he can eat shit at any point.
Hey.
Any point.
Both of you can fuck off. Joey, you're good.
Joey, you're good.
Anyways, so high school-wise, what kind of accolades, because I'm not sure, I guess I know of any of, awards handed out to linemen. What kind of accolades were you getting in high school, and how did the team do, your own high school team do in high school?
So in high school, I was the number 1 offensive lineman in the state for 2 years, I'm pretty sure. I graduated with like a 3.8 GPA. Pretty smart kid. I almost had an associate's degree in college done for just general biz or general
Yeah.
education.
So I was
and then when
talking with my co-host about this. We were he was like, how many? He's got like 3 years left. Am I correct? You said 3 years eligibility.
Two.
You got 2.
years eligibility.
Okay, and he's like, and he graduated already. I'm like, well, he probably had some college courses done before he even got into college. So you were well on your way.
Yeah, my mom made me, because I was always ahead in school. I was a quick learner. So I made sure that I got my schoolwork done. And once I finished basically high school, like halfway through my sophomore year, they're like, "Oh, time for college classes." And I was like, "All right, cool. Let's knock out as much as I can."
Right.
So I did a lot of college classes in high school, and then when it came to football, my team wasn't. I mean, we had our ups and downs, mostly downs, but we went my freshman year on varsity. We went, I think, 8-3, then turned around, went 2-8, 6-4, then 5-5 my senior year. But the thing that nobody understands was the year we went 2-8 was probably the most fun I've ever had playing football, just because as a unit we focused on just us having fun, because that's all we could do is control what we could control. So I mean, I had a blast in high school playing football. I mean, if I could go back, I would change a few things, but everyone says that.
Sure, I was gonna say, I'm sure everybody kind of has a version of that and changing things in the past. So you start getting recruited and whatnot. Ultimately, when did you commit to Iowa State, and who also was in the running for your services back then?
So I ended up doing the first early signing period in December in 2017 when I committed to Iowa State. I committed probably 2 weeks before that. I had Coach Manning and Coach Campbell down at my house for a house visit, and it was Coach Campbell's birthday, and I was like, well, what other better birthday surprise than for me to commit? So I committed with him.
That's awesome.
I had a top 6 in high school, which seems like a big list.
Yeah,
but
who were they?
My top 6 was Oregon, ASU, Iowa State, UCLA, U of A, and I want to say Washington.
Okay.
It's a damn good list, man.
That is a really good list.
So it was still mostly Pac-12 schools, but I mean, Iowa State was in there, and I mean, if I really had to narrow it down, the 3 I was really considering was Iowa State, Oregon, and ASU. Those were the 3 I was really focusing on the most, just because I mean, opportunity is the biggest thing, and I got sold on the opportunity to play football in a great small town named Iowa, and also change the culture, and that really spoke to me, and I really wanted to be a part of that. So.
Yeah, how were your visits? I'm sure did you take visits to Oregon and all your other places?
So I would always take unofficials. I mean, I would get invited to their summer camp. So, I mean, I've seen their facility a bunch of times. So I ended up only going on one official to Iowa State, because I went on my official and I was like, this is it. I don't want to waste. I know this is what I want, and I want this. So I didn't waste anyone else's time. Called up all the coaches and I said, hey, listen, I appreciate the opportunity. I'm going to commit to Iowa State. Thank you for everything. I wish you all the best.
You know, that just opened my eyes. So I just learned something right there. So Matt Campbell's great, right? But really what happened was you came up to God's country and you're like, this is heaven.
Yeah.
This is where I want to play football. I love it.
I'm just hey, just for a little reference point, we bring this up every so often. I don't remember anywhere in any movie where it was ever referenced as, Texas and God's country, or is this
well,
heaven?
Blake Shelton also sings a song about shitty Oklahoma, saying it's God's country too. So some other people might be misinformed as well.
We're just talking about Field of Dreams. It was literally confused. Is this heaven? So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is some people also may be misinformed about.
No, they're not. They're beautifully accepted. I had a couple questions for you. Number one was actually, so my son is a freshman. He'll be going into his sophomore year for football this next season, obviously. And he plays center. Is there any advice that you can give to any young lineman on what they can do to get better? Anything they can do, technique or stuff that maybe they haven't heard to do?
My biggest thing to young players in high school would definitely be to make sure they get school done first. I mean, football is great and all, but college football isn't made for everybody, and it's a sad realization. But I remember there was a stat in high school where it was only like 20% of kids are in the country that play high school football go to college. And I saw that stat and I was like, all right, I got to work towards this. So for me, the biggest thing I did was finding a really good group of committed people that want to take playing college football and trying to get to the next level serious, and just kind of being around them, because when you're a product of your surrounding and who you're friends with. And if you're friends with people who just think high school football is going to be it for them, that's all you're going to do. You're only going to play high school football. But if you're around dudes that they have those dreams, aspirations to play college ball and go to the NFL, and they're taking it serious, you're going to be on the same wavelength, and you guys are going to have the same goals and motivate each other to compete even harder. And then when it comes to technique as an offensive lineman, be a sponge to everyone. I mean, the game is constantly evolving, and defensive linemen are getting faster and more athletic, and it's scary in a way. But being a sponge to every bit of information and doing your own research, because coaches can only teach so much. And that's where I feel like I succeeded, was I did my own research with my father, other than outside of being at practice, about technique. I mean, I searched forever on who to train with, whatever it might be. And even I think going to camps was great for me. I mean, I was able to learn from some ex-NFL coaches to current NFL players to meeting current NFL players and seeing what it takes and kind of hearing from them, just the wisdom that other people can bring in the position of being an offensive lineman is crucial to a young offensive lineman that wants to take it serious.
That's awesome right there. And I appreciate that. Seriously, I'll make sure my son definitely listens to that response. I preach the same stuff to him too. I tell him about first off, school is number one. Like, I love sport. Absolutely. I love sports to death. We obviously run a sports podcast, so sports is life for me, but not to the extent of education. So that's big for me.
Let me follow up on that question you just asked real quick before you go again, Jimmer. So you did wrestling for a long time, jiu-jitsu, everything like that. How much do you think that helped? I mean, moving into the trenches like you do every day, how important do you think that was for you to get where you are?
I think that was the biggest. That's definitely what separated me from a normal offensive lineman. I think boxing helped me with my timing and my hand speed 100%, even cardio. I mean, people don't understand how much cardio it takes to be a boxer. And even wrestling, like wrestling humbles you when it comes to working out, because I feel like wrestling teaches you how to go past your own mind to work and kind of dedicate yourself to, all right, I gotta do this or I'm screwed, basically. So I think wrestling and all those hand-to-hand combat sports definitely elevated my game past a certain level to where some people haven't reached. And I definitely recommend any young athlete getting into that, whether it just might be twice a week. I mean, I was doing it 4 or 5 times a week, so I have a little bit different thing going. But even if it's as simple as doing it twice a week or even once a week, just having that consistency of working on your hands, or even the hard workouts and of wrestling. And wrestling also teaches you leverage. And we know offensive line is all about leverage, because as soon as you get that right angle, you're going to be able to move that man, a grown man, or whether it be a young man, against his own will. So I think wrestling was a huge part, and boxing definitely helped when it came to playing offensive line.
So it's just not our guy to our right constantly preaching to us about getting our boys into that wrestling room too.
Absolutely, that teaches a mentality that can't be matched.
There you go. There's your sound bite right there.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's your sound bite, Rio. And that's greatly appreciated right there. If you don't mind, we do a little segment here that we get our guests on, and we do a thing called Rio's Randoms. And he has 3 random questions, kind of like a would you rather, or something along those lines. Very lighthearted. Just give your best response. We're all going to answer,
Yeah,
have a
it's
good
all
time
for
with
fun,
it.
man.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Nothing too inappropriate, I assume, but we'll find out.
We'll find
I
out.
can't remember what the hell I wrote down. I guess we'll find out. And it is time tonight for Rio's Randoms, brought to you by Bo's Power Washing out of Belmont, Iowa. Make sure you hit them up for all your cleaning and power washing needs. He'll mow grass, move snow in the wintertime, clean your gutters. He does it all. Make sure to hit him up at 641-903-2333. 17-20. Tonight on Rio's Randoms, first up, maybe. Just take a moment and pretend you're going out on a blind date. It's your first time going out on a blind date. Tell me the worst thing that could happen to you on a first blind date.
Hold on, are we talking about us, us personally, or the date?
No. What's the other person doing to you that you would think would be the worst thing? Say she or he, Danny.
Hey, it is 2022. Come on, man.
Oh, my bad.
Let's see.
What do you think could be the worst thing that she would do to you? Or that could just happen in general, I guess.
Man.
Joey, if you have an answer, you can chime in.
All right, I'm still trying to think. That's a
Okay.
tough one.
No, that's fine. You go ahead. Well, I'm going to go ahead and spitball one out here. Now, I'm going to give a general answer, but then I'm going to give you the more specific one. So, rudeness, like no manners whatsoever, is like one of the worst things. And now what I'm getting at is if she nasty, and I'm talking about she's like ripping ass or something over there. We're in the restaurant, and she even apologizing or nothing. Not even, oh, my tummy hurts. Nothing. We're gonna have a problem. Dude. Girls don't fart, dude.
That'd be crazy. I was gonna say like she's got some diarrhea and she didn't cancel it. She's running to the bathroom or ripping nasty farts. Dude, that would be so bad.
Danny, you got one?
Yeah, the first thing when you asked that question, the first thing I thought of was the movie White Chicks.
Oh, yeah.
And when he's on that date with Terry Crews and he's burping and eating all the food and throws his feet up on the table, starts clipping his toenails and everything. Right?
Yeah.
So anything along those lines, and I'm dipping out. But listen, she got the bill.
For sure.
What do you got, Joey?
Well, okay. How nice of a blind date are we talking? Are we talking like fancy restaurant, like you're dressing up, or are we just talking like, oh, it's just like a casual dinner?
Yeah, wherever you took her, what would be the worst thing that she could do that you would be like, nope, I got to leave. Like, I'm going to the bathroom, and then you dip out.
You know what? I'm going to answer for him, as in for Rio. Fancy place. You were under the assumption that she was a classy lady.
Yeah.
That she was a classy lady, and you go and take her somewhere fancy.
There you go.
I would probably say rudeness in a way. Like the first answer kind of and I was gonna say what I was gonna say. I mean, kind of like no manners, kind of disrespectful. Like just kind of has an attitude for no reason. Like say like service isn't the fastest and it's booked or something, and she's just like, it's so unacceptable. Like
loud and obnoxious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that would probably be like the biggest turn away for me.
You know what? That's a good call. So like the movie Waiting, right? That one Karen, that's like a total bitch to the waitress. Yeah, I'd probably be more pissed off about that than if she's just gross. Yeah,
you would be more pissed about that.
Yeah,
okay, because they don't know it's a blind date. In fact, at that point, I'd be telling the waiter or waitress, be like, "This is a blind date, bro.
This is my sister."
Yeah, she has Tourette's. Don't mind her.
Have you all been on a bad like date or blind date or anything like that? No,
nothing crazy. No,
Joey, you got anything?
I won't waste my time.
I like it.
So
I don't think I got one that's real bad.
Speaking of being a Karen, though, I did go out to eat. It wasn't a blind date, but it was actually a lovely family member. But we went to this place, and it was like I think they had all-you-can-eat catfish, maybe. And we went there, and it was later in the afternoon. It wasn't lunchtime, but it wasn't quite dinner time either. And that was a lunchtime special, all-you-could-eat catfish. And it was like probably 3 o'clock by the time we got up there. And he tried to order it, and they were like, oh, sorry, sir, we're all out. And he, like, threw a fit. He was like, this is bullshit. That's crap. What the hell are you talking about? Well, that's dumb. Why you got it up there? She's like, well, that was our special today, and just made this whole big deal about it. I was like, what?
Just the uncomfortable
then
feeling.
you're embarrassed. You're like, I want to go home.
I was embarrassed. I'm like, that's not.
I don't
he's
know.
not blood related.
I don't know if I keep my mouth shut. I'd be like, hey, listen here, moron. Real quick hitter, because I had a conversation with my wife yesterday. Yeah, my wife's always pleased when I bring her up into this. Joey, are you gummy bears or gummy worms?
Ooh, I would honestly say gummy worms.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
Where you at? Okay.
Gummy worms.
So, my wife, love her to death. Till death do us part.
So with all due respect.
So with all due respect, I come up to the vehicle. It was baseball practice yesterday. I come up to the vehicle. She has a pack of, you can tell it's gummies of some kind. I'm like, hey, let me get one of those. I assume it would be gummy worms. She opens it up. It's gummy bears. I'm like, what the hell is this? And and she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, gummy worms. What? She's like, no, everyone knows gummy bears. I'm like, what? No, with a little bit of snobbery in there. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, my wife.
I'm like, no, it's gummy worms, baby.
Yeah, my wife does that, and then she ate all the other ones, but the reds. I don't know. I was like,
that's a thing.
I was like,
I think that's
I was
the
like,
best
what
flavor,
the hell?
so I don't know.
I don't know what was going on, but
I'm sorry to detract too much, but I just needed to get a little insight on this gummy worm, gummy bear situation. So,
all right. Next up on Rio's Randoms, number 2. So for $1 million, you've got to eat or drink this. Which one would you pick? And you got to pick one of them. You can't bow out. You have to either drink a gallon of old chunky milk or eat a gallon of old chunky yogurt. Which one are you doing?
Is the yogurt flavored?
Vanilla.
Sweetened or unsweetened?
Yeah, exactly.
right.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna go first, just so that it doesn't look like I'm copycatting anybody. I'm going with the yogurt because milk's not supposed to be chunky. I couldn't wrap my
yogurt.
you can. No, you can because you can have like chunks of fruit in there. You can have the thought process.
Okay, so no, this is like vanilla.
Doesn't matter.
You know.
Doesn't matter because you're eating yogurt. You're still thinking that it could have something like that.
Okay.
Milk is not supposed to be goddamn chunky.
Yeah, dude,
I couldn't convince myself that I'm drinking cottage cheese. That's not going to happen.
What do you got, Joey? What do you think?
I'm gonna have to go with the yogurt. Well, how much yogurt are we talking about? Are we talking like a pint?
No. It's a gallon too.
Gallon?
So much.
A gallon of milk and a gallon of yogurt. And they're
Let's say milk, get it over with easier. I mean, it's gonna both of them are gonna mess me up regardless. But I'd rather go. I could get quicker. I feel like.
chug the milk down real quick.
Yeah.
This is so bad.
What if you had your choice of chocolate milk or regular milk? Does it change your choice?
No, it does not change my choice.
Okay.
So unfortunately for me, I had like a visual just recently because we just moved. We bought a house, moved from this one place, and we forgot some stuff in the refrigerator. Look in the refrigerator, and the milk is separated like 3 different ways. Dude. Yeah, it's gross. So me, because I'm the dad, I can do what I want. I tell my daughter, I'm like, grab that and go dump that out in the toilet. And this girl, bless her soul, goes and she does it from like a normal high level instead of putting it down at the bottom. You can hear every chunk slap, and then you can hear they can like start catching whiff, and I start like in my mouth. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. My mouth starts watering in the bad way. I'm like, God damn it, gross. Go ahead, Danny.
Man,
So Joey's drinking chocolate milk. What you got, Danny?
I think I'm going yogurt. I don't think I'd be able to choke down all that milk. I think I'd be able to choke down the yogurt. I'm positive I couldn't do the milk though.
Right.
Yeah, I don't. So I think I'm with you. I'm probably going to eat the gallon of old yogurt because just thinking about nasty old chunky milk and I can already picture the smell. My stomach is churning.
My stomach's churning right now.
My stomach is churning.
So that being said, I don't know if I've ever seen like rotten yogurt. Maybe it smells the same, and I just signed myself up for something even worse.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe that's next week's challenge.
Hey, by the way, real
there
quick
we go.
thing, a little update on our bee friend there, Joey. It decided to come back to life.
After he got hit.
Oh,
Yeah, it came back to life and started whizzing around here. So, yeah. If you end up watching the YouTube video later and
God
you see
damn
me
it, Pete is
disappear a
gonna be
few times, I know. You see me disappear a couple times, it's me trying to prevent us from dying because it's a big old it's bigger than what the screen's going to show, okay? It's like a killer bumblebee.
Hell yeah. And my last one for Rio's Randoms tonight. Would you rather be a legendary coach or a legendary player? Any sport.
I'm going to go with legendary player.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to have to say that because you never know if a legendary player can turn into a legendary coach.
There you go.
So plus if it's a legendary player, people will always live through the highlights. I feel like people sometimes forget about how good coaches actually are.
Yeah. So, okay. I got you.
Yep. I got.
I think I'm leaning more towards what Joey was saying right there. At first I was thinking the coach part. But unless you're like Vince Lombardi or Bill Belichick, you will get forgotten. Like, ultimately, because the players are what rule that. Like, yeah.
But you're legendary, so you're going to be like that.
Yeah, but there's legendary coaches that you maybe not even heard of. They're still legends. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't know.
Right, but whatever. I'm just saying, whatever you
I'm going to say
think
legendary
legend.
football player or legendary player.
Legendary player, too.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you got, Danny?
I'm going coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going coach.
Okay.
Hey, Joey hit on a good point. Like, even if you're a great player, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a great coach. Matter of fact, most of the best coaches couldn't play the sport very well, or didn't make it very far. So I'd rather have an impact on a number of players than just be a legendary player myself.
Okay. What sport do you think?
Football. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going coach, too. I already do a little bit of coaching. I like the aspect of it, and to think, you probably change some lives and stuff like that as a legendary coach. Plus, be known, you probably won be a ring, Super Bowl, or World Series, or anything like that. The whole experience.
I'm changing lives as a legendary player, too.
Are you, though?
Oh, yes.
Are you?
I'm touching lives everywhere. What are you talking about?
Okay, Dennis Rodman, let's...
everybody needs a Vegas trip every so often, okay? Calm down, Rio.
Everybody needs a Vegas trip. Yeah, so that's the way I'm leaning. I think coach would be... Plus, I'd probably save a little bit more on my body. I'd probably be feeling a little better in my old days, right?
It's true.
Yeah. I'm going player. Glory
All
days.
right, and that, folks, is what I've got for Rio's Randoms tonight. Brought to you by Bose Power Washing. Make sure you hit them up.
All right. So I got a couple little quick hitters here before we let you off, Joey. And one of them is, what are we thinking for the Arizona State season? What is the goal? What's the team kind of what's been told to you? And then if you could, on that same line, kind of talk a little bit of Herm Edwards, like how he was, like how you've how the conversations have went with him.
So I will say, the biggest thing that always stuck with me with Coach Edwards, because he got put in as the head coach right as I was committing to Iowa State. The main thing he said to me when I called him, because I was like, out of respect, I'm going to call all the coaches that I care about and be like, hey, I appreciate the opportunity, like I said earlier. When I called him, he was like, man, you're a great young man, and you're going to do great things. You're going to go change the culture. He's like, but just know this. You'll always have a spot at home. And I was like, that no matter how long I've been at Iowa State, that always stuck in my head. I was like, damn, no matter what.
Wow.
That hits you in the feels, man.
Dude, I just got tingles just from that alone myself.
So he said that to me, and then after this past season, I was like, man, I'm graduating. I did my time, did my 4 years, changed the culture. It's time for another chapter. And he called me up. He said, hey, man, that spot's still here for you. And I was like, shit, man, say less.
Hell yeah.
Shit, man, say less. So man of his word, too, then.
Absolutely. And that's the biggest thing I respected about him. And respect goes a long way, whether you got to earn it or whether it's trust and all that. But I've respected him since day one as not only a coach, but as a person, just from what he's done for himself and his family and his community. But going back to the ASU team, the main goal that I'm setting for this year is obviously be on the field, make an impact, show my special talents, and kind of have the opportunity to put myself out there in a different conference. But when it comes to the team, I want to bring ASU back to being a dominant team in the West Coast. I want to be Pac-12 champions, and whatever happens after that happens, whether we go to a national championship or whether it's a big bowl game. I want to make sure that ASU is known to be a heavy hitter and a team to be feared, I guess.
There we go.
Love it. My last question for you, my man. So you're going to get your MBA. So either way, your future looks real good. But if you have the opportunity, are you going to try to go to the NFL?
That's the goal. I mean, that's always been goal number 1 for me, is get into the NFL. But at the same time, what I realized when I had met some current NFL players and ex-NFL players and coaches. They held up their finger in about a 2-inch span and said, this is how long football is in your life. You get that much of your life that is strictly football. You got an entire life after football to live, so focus on school. So I've always made sure that I did school and I got a degree no matter where I went. So I got my degree here. That's the only reason I stayed as long as I did, really, is to make sure I got my degree. I mean, I could have transferred after the season and been in a different program, but I wanted to make sure I fulfilled my commitment, got my degree, because the portal is crazy nowadays. Nothing is guaranteed when you enter it. So I made sure I got something that was guaranteed and that will stick with me for the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
Respect, man.
That's good thinking right there. I got a couple right before we let you off here. What's the, besides, Iowa State, I mean, it would probably be your first answer. What's the coolest stadium you've ever played in? Atmosphere, anything like that?
I would say the craziest stadium, one of you are going to like this answer, would probably be Texas.
Hell yeah. PKR, man.
Hold on. He must have had like earbuds on and horse blinders when he went and faced Iowa. Then,
you know what? I'm
with all due respect, Joey.
I am
okay. Texas, hook 'em.
And I've seen one game there. That's it. But
I would say Texas. It was the 2018 season. That place was sold out. I think it was number 16 versus number 14, Iowa State, and it was sold out completely. And I mean, I know how you guys pump in crowd noise, but I mean, that place was rocking.
I love it.
It'd be like that.
Some of it's all natural. You get it all natural up in the state of Iowa. Other states, you got to pump her in. So
yeah, at the University of Iowa, you get all natural losses too. So,
Damn.
This son of a
but
bitch.
anyways, so what does Joey do for fun? What's he do when he's not playing football, training for football? What do you do to kick back?
I would say in Iowa, I picked up a lot on fishing, and then kind of just started to get into technology a little bit. Like this past, I think when COVID hit, when we really couldn't do anything, I was like, screw it, I'm going to build a computer. So I ended up building a computer from scratch. So
cool.
I mean, now twiddle around on the internet and just kind of, if I'm not sleeping, I'm either fishing or I'm on my computer hanging out with some buddies back home.
Oh, hell yeah.
There we go.
That's awesome. Pretty cool. So we know that getting to play college football at the next level is never guaranteed. It's always a privilege. Not everybody gets to do it. You touched on that. Who would you like to thank that helped you along your journey and to get to where you have gotten now? You're obviously very successful, not only on the field but in the classroom. And so who would you like to thank in your life that's helped you?
Definitely want to give the biggest shout out. Like it'll never be big enough, but definitely my parents. I mean, everything that they sacrificed to give me an opportunity to put my name out there, whether it's taking me across the country to camps, and whether it's Buffalo or Oregon or Washington or Florida, just the amount of time and effort and money they put into me to get me into this level, and that I'm forever grateful. And I'm going to try to find a way to pay it back somehow. But I'm super grateful for them, and they're definitely the biggest reason, definitely my family I want to give thanks to. And then Scott Peters was another big aspect. He's currently the assistant O-line coach with the Cleveland Browns. He's kind of someone who took me under his wing when I just started playing football. He was one of the first dudes I started to work with. I went to an FBU camp, met some really high-level ex-NFL coaches, and they recommended me to him because they saw potential in me. And so basically after my freshman year through even till recently, I still try to get as much work with him as I can. But I definitely want to give thanks to him. He's definitely a big part of my success when it comes to football.
That's awesome right there.
Yes, indeed.
I'm going to venture a guess. I'm not trying to fully put words in your parents' mouths, but I guarantee that you've already paid it back. You just don't know it. You sound like you're a upstanding young man, and you have your head on your shoulders too. Like everything's, you know exactly what the hell you're doing. One final question, and then I promise you we'll let you off. What is, if football doesn't go beyond college, what are you looking forward to doing? Like what is your future? What are you thinking?
So the main reason Like a big reason I love ASU so much is because I mentioned their sports law and business program. And as growing up, I've always kind of been, I wouldn't say stingy with my money, but I've been smart with my money growing up. And then I just kind of got really good at selling things. And I had got a business management degree, and my advisor, she was like, "Hey, you only need a few more classes in an MBA to become a sports agent." So when I'm going after sports agency, and football doesn't work out, I feel like I could definitely sell people to a team. It sounds jacked up to say, but I feel like I'm a good marketer for people. And then even if that doesn't work out, real estate is my next venture. I mean, I think that's kind of where the money's at right now. And I think I could do a really excellent job at selling people houses and stuff like that.
That's awesome right there.
Yeah, very cool.
So, my man, we appreciate you coming on, taking time out of your busy-ass schedule. And the only thing we ask is that, we'd appreciate you coming back on sometime. Chat it up, maybe during the season a little bit when you got a break, like a 5-minute gap there, even to talk what's going on the field.
Absolutely. I would definitely be down for that. I appreciate you guys taking the time to have me.
Yeah, man. Best of luck at ASU. That Pac-12 is going to be tough this year, so bring it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a fan.
Definitely. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll talk to you later.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
We're just hitting gold, gentlemen.
Very cool.
Have we had a bad one? Like maybe ever, but I swear it feels like it gets better and better and better. So
yeah, absolutely. So I think now we're gonna roll our first ad, boys.
Okay.
Before we kick off news and notes.
Yeah.
We'll kick off our ad. King Kong Apparel, folks, got to check them out.
Hey guys. One thing that we've learned on the podcast, talking to all kinds of athletes, is that fitness is a journey. And that's why we've decided to partner with one of the best gym bag companies on the market. Imagine a seriously tough training partner that's guaranteed to keep you on your game, will never skip a sesh, is always there to level up your motivation, and will even organize your life and hold all your workout gear for you.
Meet King Kong Bags, the toughest gym bags in the game. You can drag them around, pack them to the max, and take them on the toughest of adventures with confidence they aren't going to rip or stretch.
All King Kong bags are decked out with all the pockets and compartments you'll ever need. We're talking shoe compartments, laptop sleeves, multiple bottle pockets, wet zones for your towel, pockets for your gym accessories, meal prep storage, and even a unique weightlifting belt attachment.
If you take your training serious, you need a serious gym bag too. Are you ready to pack for greatness? Take their quiz and let the pros match you to your perfect gym bag.
Not convinced? Buy it, pack it, take it to the gym, get chalk all over it, and if it doesn't live up to the hype of being the #1 gym bag of over 80,000 fitness freaks worldwide, return it for a full refund. No questions asked.
Make sure you use knkg.com/sports for our exclusive $10 off discount, and we will get that link posted up for easy access. This ad is sponsored by King Kong Apparel.
Boom, boom, gentlemen. Big time. I looked at the bags myself. Damn.
They're legit.
They are legit.
Yeah.
Like, that's where we are. I remember, like, those, it was a big deal when I got those, I thought the drawstring bags were pretty cool. They just put on your bag, but put in your back. This could almost move your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And the durability in it, so.
But yeah, that was definitely a kick-ass interview. And for those of you listening, hopefully you enjoyed the ad. Those bags look like they're badass. Might have to invest here pretty soon.
Yeah.
They're pretty sturdy. Like Jimmer said earlier, seems like you can pretty much haul your house with it.
Yeah.
But
It's pretty cool.
we've been MIA. We missed an episode here last week, so we got a little bit of catching up to do.
Yeah.
A lot of fun stuff to talk about. So Jimmer, what's going on, man?
The conference finals are set, gentlemen, with the East being Celtics versus Heat and the West being the Warriors versus the Mavs. The Mavs slammed the door on the Suns 123-90 at Phoenix. The Celtics were just as impressive with theirs with a 109-81 series closer over the Bucks. So,
Big time.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to nicely pass this over to Danny. You can go ahead and this is your moment.
You could pass that to me, Rio. Will you want to pass him that peach? I don't know how many. I don't know if it's 1, 2, 4. I don't know what we did.
Well,
I'll
take a look. I'll take a look here.
All right.
I can't remember.
Go ahead. Go on your give it to us, and we deserve every inch of what's about to be given.
Solid 2.5, baby. So we will. No, the bet. The reason you're gonna do, might just be a shot, might be more. I can't remember, but is because the Phoenix Suns are not even in the Western Conference Finals, let alone the NBA Finals, which is.
Ooh, it's a double shot for Dimmer.
Double shot. Okay. Double shot of that peach, baby. The big takeaway for me, obviously, is Chris Paul just not showing up. His first points in the game, they were down 27 points. Obviously, the big stat people have been talking about all day is Luka had as many points at halftime as the Phoenix Suns did, right? And things like that. And Luka played a great game. I'm not a big Chris Paul fan, but I'm extremely disappointed in how he played. It was, you're the guy there. Him coming to Phoenix was supposed to bring them a championship. Obviously, it's not even close. And he just
even
know?
Yourself. Are you shocked then, like how he came out in Game 7?
Yeah, him. And I don't think Devin Booker's getting enough slack either, or enough flack either. He played like shit too.
Yeah.
Nobody did anything. Obviously, that's the reason they got beat by 50.
I swear he let Luka get in his head this game. I swear that's what it seemed
Devin?
like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Booker let Luka get in his head.
Did you see that? Did you see that still photo of Devin? And I think they're down whatever ridiculous amount, because they were down a ridiculous amount the whole game. But
yeah, he's
just like all like this, and then you can see Luka like right to his side, like.
Yeah.
Luka had that smile going the whole game, man.
Yeah. He did.
That little sly smile.
For sure.
What I was more surprised about, so they were getting beat up in the first half. I'm like, I genuinely felt this was going to be like one of the biggest comebacks ever, and they were going to win the game.
Still.
How?
Okay.
But nothing.
Yeah.
Almost as bad, if not worse.
The refs even tried to help.
Yeah.
I don't know if you realize, but they started being ticky-tacky with the Mavs. It was
awful.
It was ridiculous. But then I was like, oh, okay, they're trying to help them back in because they're getting blown out Game 7. I was like, and that will spark it, get closer, and of course, the Mavs. I'm like,
how do you not get up for Game 7 in your house?
How do you not? In your own house, yeah.
And you have a more talented roster, or definitely more top-heavy in I'd probably say the top 3 than what the Mavs have. And none of those 3 contributed.
Right.
None of them. Chris Paul, we sit there and beat him up all day, and he is well deserving of that. This officially, for me, I'm going to go on the record of saying it, because if you guys remember, I said that I believe that he was flirting with top 5 all time, even without point guard. That he was flirting with that top 5 with me, and that I always went back to the argument of, well, his teams weren't really built for playoff success, or they didn't have the players at all, as in his early days with the Hornets, New Orleans. And then when he was with the Clippers, that team was just anyone that's a basketball fan knows that was built for regular season, highlights and shit. You already knew that.
Yeah.
And then this one, I'm like, I felt that this was by far his best team. They literally, Devin Booker could literally take over a game at any point, and he's not used to having a player like that he didn't have to be the guy doing it on a regular basis. Neither one of them showed up. He deserves to get beat down, and this is where I'm going on the record of that. It is clearly not even in the conversation at top 5. He's 37 years old. You couldn't even get up for this game. We talked pre-show about everyone would always beat up LeBron, especially early on in his career, and even when he returned to Cleveland, everyone just kind of beat down on him, this, that, and the other. But when was the last time you seen LeBron James when he got bounced out of? It doesn't matter if it's Game 7, Game 6. It didn't matter. The series finale, and he didn't show up. Didn't show up.
Right.
Chris Paul didn't show up, and you were on your home court. You had your fan base that's jacked to have you. The rest of your team didn't.
I want to say Game 6 of the finals in 2011. Actually, now that I think about it.
I knew that's where Rio was going to
Are you talking about your Mavs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if he had a horrible series, though, for that
he did
whole
have a
series.
horrible
The whole series,
so
he was off.
that's why I'm like, I
yeah,
can't.
but I'm just talking about, like,
Yep.
Okay, you had me on one, but I'm talking about for the rest. For whatever reason, he was in his own mind in that series for the whole series. I'm talking about where he balled out a whole series. His team just wasn't good enough to hang. His second best player
He's trying
was
to will his team on.
yeah, and he'd do everything. You look at the stat line. There's nothing the dude could have done more to legitimately help his team.
Yeah.
You didn't get that sense from either one of the mega stars on the Suns. You definitely get it from their center, who played 17 minutes. And the coach afterwards says, Monty Williams says that it's internal stuff going on.
Yeah, listen, the biggest thing that disappointed me, the Suns are the more talented team. They shouldn't have lost the series, but they got outcoached, outplayed, out everything, right? NBA regular season, something that pisses me off is teams tend to get blown out. If they realize they're going to lose, a lot of times they'll lose by 30 points, even really good teams, right? Mm-hmm. This is Game 7 to get you to the Western Conference Finals. Right?
At home.
At home, no less.
Yep.
There was not effort there to try to come back and win that game at all. I didn't see any of that. Did you?
I'd be heavily disappointed being a Suns fan. If that was the effort that was given.
There was... I get it, though. Everything the Mavs were throwing up was going in, though.
Hey, no, that's great. No, that's great.
I mean,
that's absolutely great. At that point, that's where every one of your players, if I was on that team, would be eating the floor, eating the parquet.
Right. You got to get physical.
You're getting something there. Yeah. Like I'm not going down without swinging because that shows that I care, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Like you're getting every chip shot. Yeah, I'm coming at you're catching my shoulder when you're trying to come around the screen. Every little thing I possibly can. If the ball isn't going in the hole, which they did have they were missing wide open shots, even as in the Suns. Even then, you got to chip away at. You got to keep the Mavs at bay while you're trying to figure out getting the ball in the hole. In my opinion, and that's playoff basketball, right? And
you think you'd be the more physical team too.
I heard a great take today, right? And I never thought about it like this. I always, in a way, I did, in a way, I didn't. I told you he never had the cast around him, right? Not for playoff success. But anytime Chris Paul is the man, and this is where I have to allude to Danny on this, and it isn't just about Chris Paul. This is one of my takes on Joel Embiid. If Chris Paul is your number one or your number two, you're probably destined for not making it to the finals to win or I should say to win a championship. If he has to be your second best player, I'm talking about best player. I'm not talking about a guy that distributes the ball. You can get guys like that. There was Elfrid Payton that averaged like 10 assists a game 5 years ago, You can have guys like that. If your second best player is Chris Paul and you count on him for a certain amount of points and shit like that, that isn't his game because he disappears when it comes to scoring.
Well, it's not even that. I want to pull up his full stat line. He did nothing, dude.
No, nothing at all.
Nothing.
He has 5 series now where he was up in his NBA career. He has 5 series where he was up 2-0 and has pissed them away.
This was number 6. This is 6.
This was 6?
This was
okay.
6, yep.
Okay. Just
so he ended up with 10 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists. He only took 8 shots.
That's exactly what I was about to get at. It's almost like he wasn't even in the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, you're not even trying to shoot the ball 35 times to make sure you're going down swinging. Right. Were you even in the game? That is literally a backup point guard stat line right there.
Yeah.
Is that not?
Yeah.
That may be even some starting point guards stat line. Some. When your nickname is the point god, is that your stat line?
Not a chance, man.
No. I'm on board with you 1,000% with that. He highly disappointed, and it was embarrassing for us to have to eat that one. That you couldn't get up for that. Pat Beverly, we talked about that a little bit. He was on Get Up this morning on ESPN and literally chewed up this dude. He was tagging up the dudes. I'm talking about the analyst. He was talking about old boy that runs that.
Stephen A. Get Up.
Get Up. Damn it. I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name. The host of the main host of the show, and then hitting up Brian Windhorst, who's highly respected. He was beating down on them because he's like, you guys keep
even
sitting
guys
there.
on Twitter who were trying to defend him a little bit.
Yeah,
he was just calling.
He was just chewing them all up. He's like, this is what you guys never chew him up. You guys never beat him down, but you,
right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Mike Greenberg, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And you guys never beat him down. Anybody else, they have one bad game, and you guys chew them up and spit them out. Like you guys would do it to Harden on a regular basis, even earlier on in his days, even though me and you aren't fans of the guy. But regardless, they would. They beat him up. They beat up LeBron to a certain extent, too. Yes, they're LeBron lovers, but they also beat him down every time, right?
Yeah.
For some reason, Chris Paul always gets looked over on that.
Yeah.
And Pat Beverly was not having it today. They had him on the show, and he literally every moment he possibly could. He's like, like at one point he told Brian Windhorst, he's like, you were every game. So you said he was the man all season, this, that, and the other, and the team was this. So like, how come you're not riding it right now? Like, you watched that game. That was abysmal. How come you didn't call that out? He's like, and this is a little insight to him for anyone that didn't watch that. He's like, when I guard Chris Paul, I do not feel the same, nowhere near, actually, is what he said. Nowhere near the same feeling as when I guard a Luka. That is special. That is a different version. I don't feel that with Chris Paul when I'm not worried about him doing his thing regardless. He's not Kevin Durant. He's not Luka. He's not LeBron. He's not any of those guys. And Harden. These guys you beat up. You don't beat up on the guy that he's like, I don't feel anything special when I am guarding him. Like I can check him. And that's what he beat up on. So
yeah, and it's right now Booker should be thanking the stars that Chris Paul's on that team because he should be taking this beating.
He should
But
be.
he's not.
Definitely. I
So-
think. Yeah,
so if he
too
makes
much
it-
has been passed on to Chris Paul, and it's insane.
Yep.
I think in fairness, I think Chris Paul deserves every bit that he's gotten.
I do think
But
that, too.
Devin Booker needs to be equal with that, right?
Yes.
Because Devin Booker is the future of that place.
Yeah.
He is the man. We have seen him do that, and you didn't show up in a man moment. If you would have thrown it up and then thrown up at least your stat line and did everything you possibly could and it still came out like this, then yeah. No, you literally showed up like he did.
I don't get this is where like we need more of the Kobe mentality, I think, right? Because if you're getting beat by even 20, how are you not just fucking chucking it?
Yeah.
Shoot it. Like
Yep.
Chris Paul, you have 4 shots? Is that you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
10 points?
Yeah.
Like Booker didn't shoot very much. Like how are you not just chucking it up? Nobody else is scoring. I'm going to put this team on my back and try.
Right? We're going down swinging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless at the end of the day, right?
Yep.
Highly disappointing. He says he's not retiring, by the way. After the
Damn.
yeah.
Well, yeah, he can't. His stock just went down.
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
His
he's
highest
gotta-
moment was the year before. Maybe he should have rode off in the sunset with that one, but yeah. Well, we'll touch a little bit on the Celtics here. Celtics closed out impressively. Jason Tatum is literally in front of my eyes because I've never really been sold. In front of my eyes right now, he has became a superstar. When they need it, he does it. Now, the team is balling out. The team, I don't know if you know this, like they're shooters. I'll just say they're shooters. We're not going to get into like technicalities. They're shooters. We're shooting 40% from 3. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's really good.
And Jason Tatum has went to a whole different level. And I'm talking about passing too. I'm talking about all-around game where he's doing what his team needs from him to win. They're going to be a really, really, really hard out.
Yeah.
And the one person that should get the kudos for that, no matter what, I just blew Jason Tatum. The one person that actually deserves all that, if they actually win the championship, you need to go give Marcus Smart, old Big 12 boy, a pat on the back right there. You need to give him all the accolades in that because he recentered that team, if you guys remember.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
that
for
was
sure.
that was an abysmal team before the All-Star break, right?
Yeah,
And
you
they
know,
ripped.
that. Jason Tatum, you talked about not being impressed by him, and you know I really was never either. I always kind of thought he was a
Passover kind of?
Damian Lillard kind of, you know.
Maybe even less. I like Damian. Like I think Damian could just does
Right,
it.
but it just,
Yeah.
you know, the team doesn't win.
I got you.
You know, he's trying to will the team, but he doesn't. He's not like LeBron.
But not by a leader like that
right,
powerful
exactly,
leader
exactly.
feel.
Not
that
like
aura,
LeBron
right?
or something like that.
Yeah.
And it felt like he flipped that switch this series. You know, leading past, you know, offending champs, knock them out. Just felt different.
I'll go a step further. This series for sure. He was the best player in the Brooklyn series too.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that says a lot, right?
Yes.
We're talking about KD.
Yeah.
And he was, I mean, no shot at Giannis because Giannis put up stats.
Yeah.
There was only so
Yeah,
much
he
he could
did.
do with Middleton being out. I
They
think,
made
right? Is that
yes.
who it was?
Yeah.
But Tatum was the best player in this series as well. Like it would be really, it'd be really cool to see something like him and Dallas because these are two future like faces of the league
Yep.
essentially. I think that would be awesome. Not to get go down that rabbit hole, but I'm with you on that. It's been really cool watching him. He just exploded.
He did.
I feel,
and he finally took that to where this is my team and I need to show the responsibility. I need to do every aspect of the game. not just launching up shots, whatever, and ISO ball 100% and shit.
Defense
has stepped up absolutely, and he has embraced that 100%. And we may catch ourselves, dare I say it, a little bit Kobe-esque. So Kobe is his favorite player of all time, and he has awesome stories about that too. I'm hoping that he takes that same mentality. I hope we get to see a player that isn't part of this generation that's soft as shit and actually just goes at it every single game and gives you everything they got. And he's kicked that door down. In this playoffs, you're 100% correct. Giannis, to touch on the Bucks, Giannis ran out of gas. The poor guy did everything he possibly could. And I think they still would have. I think they could have beaten them. Chris Middleton, you cannot overblow this. Like, Chris Middleton is a very good player. He's an all-star. I'm not saying he's a superstar, but he plays in that system excellent. He's an all-star. He's a 20-plus point game scorer, and he's very hard to defend. He's a very rangy type of player, right?
Yeah.
Missing that was huge in this, especially in this series. Defense, they're a very good defensive team.
Yep.
So,
one more interesting stat on Boston.
Yeah.
You guys probably saw this, right? 37 Eastern Conference finals they've been to. That is 50% of all of the Eastern Conference finals.
Jesus.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Let me give a little love to my guy who I've been down on for a little while, and that's LeBron. You know, not trying to take a shot at Giannis because I love him. But you did. I know you had to have seen that meme too. LeBron beat this exact same Celtics team like 3 years ago with nobody in the Eastern Conference Finals. So, you know, some people are quick to re-crown a king, but the man is the man, bro. Even though he's a bitch now. With all due respect.
Yeah, with all due
respect.
Who do you got moving on?
GM, Zach.
Hey, who do you got moving on?
Huh?
Who's your pick to move on?
Oh, I thought you meant like move on with the news.
No. Who's your pick to move on? And
this is very tough. Very, very, very tough. I don't want to discount Luka. I do not. But I got to. Like, it sounds bad, but it's really hard. And I'm going to probably eat my words on this one. Golden State is way too experienced. If they're all clicking, I think that's a different ball club.
Okay. And Eastern?
Eastern is the more difficult one. So if Heat plays their brand, this is going to be one hell of a slugfest. This series right here is going to be a slugfest. Mm-hmm. Every game is going to be tight, going to come down to 7. Your series could come down to 7, Rio, but it's going to be, like I was telling you earlier, it's going to be big swings. It'll be like game 1, 120 to 90, something like that. Next game will be flip-flop scored. You know, it's not, I don't see it being like down to the second, like 3 that wins a game or something. But I do see that in this series. I gotta ride with the Celtics until, like, I can't hate on them. I can't hate on them anymore, so I'm gonna ride with Celtics, Warriors.
Okay, what do you got, Danny?
Yeah, Celtics in 6. They're just a better team. They got way more depth. Miami plays good defense. Boston plays better defense. Mm-hmm. That Williams is going to be back.
He was in the last game a little bit. Yep.
I think they said he might miss game 1 because of that bone bruise or whatever, but he'll be back and he should be healthier, and he's a big part of that. I think Celtics in 6, unless Jimmy Butler averages 45 a game. That's the only way. But Celtics in 6 and Golden State in 7. Yeah.
Okay. You know, I got to ride Mavs.
Okay.
So I'll go whiskey wager on that with you fellas.
All right.
The Western Conference. I think what really helped turn this team around was the games Luka was out, and we figured out what Brunson could really do. Mm-hmm. And not just him, but he put up a big stat line. But I don't think you realize how much other people did.
No, Spencer Dinwiddie.
Dinwiddie went off.
Balled out. That was one of the unwritten trades that everyone forgets about.
Right.
Because you got him in that Kristaps trade.
Yep, trade.
And Spencer's like, so, because I don't know if you remember that. Spencer's like, so I was the problem in Washington. You remember that tweet?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and no, this Spencer has never been the problem, and he's one hell of a great piece for you, especially coming off the bench.
Right. Reggie Bullock's been balling out. He's been playing well.
That's that dude we were trying to talk about. That was bodying up Chris Paul.
Yep. So, I mean, everybody's just playing really well, and I think those games really told the team, like, hey, we can do this not only with one of the best players in the NBA right now. Mm-hmm. And so I think just altogether that Game 7 was I know Luka was balling out, but I mean, when they were collapsing on, he'd kick it out or kick it to somebody else, and they'd find the open person. They'd hit the shot.
You know what your superstar did for you? Your superstar went down, and I think he scored the first 8 points or something like that. He made his first 2 threes. He made his first 3 shots. Let's put it that way, and that eased anything that was going on. Suns never ever let tension off.
Right.
Luka, that's what a superstar does, and the rest of the team followed. The rest of the team balled out too.
Well,
So I agree.
Just to piggyback off that, the thing I think he did to really change everything for that team is his post game. He never really used to use that, dude.
Yeah.
Now he's excellent with it.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. He's got really good footwork. He can get by guys. He was didn't matter who was guarding him. It didn't matter if it was Ayton or not. He'd take it right to the cup. If it was Ayton, he fade away. If it was a shorter guy, whatever.
Yep.
I think that's been huge for him, is adding that in.
Sure. I'm taking Mavs there. I think it could be a good series. I agree. It could be flip-flop, totally one score, and flip-flop the other way. And then I'm going Boston as well. I'm thinking Boston in 5 or 6. I'm thinking Miami is just going to not have enough to hang with them, no matter how good a defense they play. I just think overall they don't have enough, and Jimmy's going to have to score 50 each game.
No belief in Tyler Harrow?
Sorry, no.
No?
Good.
Bam Adebayo?
Right. Good 6-man or whatever, but I just think altogether Boston's got all the pieces right.
Yeah.
Miami's got a couple pieces. And ultimately I think they just get, they don't have enough gas.
Yeah. I was going to comment further, and I actually don't need to on that. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
And that's nutted. GM Zach Kleiman says Memphis Grizzlies will spend to keep Ja Morant and the core together.
Yeah, which is...
That's pretty crazy for him to just come out and say that. So it's basically saying we're going to open our pocketbook. That's the first thing I thought. I was like, you're telling all of them I'm going to open our pocketbook no matter what.
It's weird because they didn't do it for Conley.
Yeah.
Look back at it. They didn't do that for Conley. And I thought Conley was going to be the guy there.
Or hold on. Are you talking about his contract or the supporting cast around him?
Yes.
They paid him. Yes, they did.
Well, to keep it. I guess they keep him and everybody. They didn't open their pocketbook.
They didn't open the pocketbook for everybody else. They thought Mike Conley could carry it once they started letting some of these pieces fall off.
Right.
Okay. That's where I thought you were going at, and I agree with that part. But they did pay Conley at one point.
Yeah.
The part where they say they're going to keep the core is huge. Now, I don't know if I just would have flat out said that to the media. Like that. We will pay them and they will, because now it's the agents are like, you hear that? Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Oh, yeah, dude.
They said they're paying because they want to keep the core.
Can I be a core guy, too? Shit.
They have to, though, right, gentlemen? They were highly entertaining. They're right there on the cusp, too. They can battle. They just need to get better and better, right?
Yeah, they've got some growth that they need to make happen.
The oldest player on the team is
something
actually old boy is the one that drew that hard foul on Gary Payton.
He is? Really?
Yeah, he's 26. That's the oldest player on the team.
That young squad.
So, yeah, they have to though, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if you want to, you're not breaking that down, obviously. Yeah. This is more of an interesting one. I had to put it in because I'm a fat Albert fan.
Okay.
Albert Pujols makes his first pitching appearance of his career. Closes out the Cardinals' rout of the Giants.
What a stud.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
I mean, they were basically batting practice pitches. I watched a little bit. I'm like, oh, did he throw a little bit where he struck someone out? Because I would go a little crazy. No, I think he even gave up some runs. But it doesn't matter. It was like a blowout. It was 15-5 or 16-5 or something like that. But I just thought it was cool. His final year, kind of getting a dabble of everything. They're winning. Just that kind of thing was cool.
It is cool, yeah.
Prospects on the single A Dunedin Blue Jays struck out 24 batters in a 1-0 win over the New York Yankees Tampa Bay Tarpons in the Florida State League on Saturday night, pitching a combined 2-hitter. 24 strikeouts.
That's ball.
That is insane. First off, that's a lot.
That's a lot. No matter what level, right?
No matter where you're at, that is a lot of strikeouts.
God.
Yeah, if you're out there in the field, you're like, all right, let's get one get by.
Give me the ball,
Yeah, no kidding. Went through a lot of sunflower seeds that game.
Oh, yeah. Cincinnati Reds don't allow a hit, but fall 1-0 to the Pittsburgh Pirates. They become the 6th team in MLB history to have this happen.
I seen it. How did it happen?
It was walks. Was it walks and then a sacrifice fly?
Okay.
There was a strikeout that should have happened that made that not happen.
You did? Okay, you seen something?
Yeah, there was a strikeout and this is where I kind of think maybe the robot thing would be a good move because we're starting to see these errors.
Is this the one that was right down the pipeline?
It was.
I saw a pitch at that,
but it was kind of on the edge, right?
It wasn't that one then. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I saw the one down the middle.
Down the middle, and they called it a ball, literally down the pipeline.
I think it was against the Cubs or something like that.
Okay, maybe that's what it was.
But yeah,
okay.
I seen it right down the middle, and the umpire's like ball, and everybody stopped for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
this wasn't. It was just a hair outside the middle, but it was clearly a strike. And they called it a ball, which ultimately I think that was part of where the one run came from. But that kind of shit, we're starting to see more of the officiating impact big things.
And
like
it's really bad this year.
Yeah,
it is.
It is really, really bad this year.
It is. And first thing I thought of, Cincinnati just learning new ways to lose.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Like, damn. What, you don't allow a hit and you lose 1-0. That's almost like some Jacob DeGrom shit right there, right?
Figured it out, yeah.
Titans quarterback Malik Willis says he and Ryan Tannehill are off to a good start.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Rio.
Yeah. No, I was just going to talk about that. Did y'all see the video of him looking like gassed and everything?
Who?
Or not? Speaking of the Titans, I guess I was talking. Who's the receiver they drafted in first round?
Burke. Traylon Burke.
Yeah, Traylon Burke. Did you see him in practice?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so he's running, and he's, like, throwing up, sick, dehydrated, like, just not ready. Looks out of shape.
Not pro receiver.
Hold on, though. Crazy, but I do agree with some people who are like, these guys have spent the last couple months training for draft day or for combine day, not for the NFL.
Yeah.
So while it did look concerning to me, well, I saw that float across a few times, and I'm like, you know what? That actually makes sense. You're training for short bursts of whatever you're doing, right? You're just running some routes, so you just got some short bursts you need, right? You're doing the cone drill, you need a short burst. You're doing 40-yard dash, you need a short burst of high energy. So I get it, but he looked really bad, like out of shape, not ready for it. Yeah.
So I'm going to go 2 things off that statement right there, and that is I had to wait until last year
To lose your virginity?
Yeah.
Oh.
She touched my private parts.
Why do you have like 7 kids then?
My no square. I don't know.
DirecTV has been over an awful lot.
We've had DirecTV have Hulu, damn it.
You stream everything. It's crazy.
Stream everything. That being said, 2 things that I have overreacted to. I've overreacted to like off season on a regular basis. 2 things have helped square me. Number 1, do you guys remember when Patrick Mahomes threw like 5 interceptions in a practice and they made a big deal of it?
Yep. Jamar
Chase with the ball and dropping. And then all of a sudden we have maybe, we'll see years down the road, but arguably one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Once his career is done, I'm saying. And then Jamar Chase, who's like balling out at a ridiculous pace, right? So, like you said, training a little bit different. I think he'll be fine. I believe he'll be fine.
Yeah.
I have a pretty good feeling about him. I don't know how it's going to work with Tannehill. I was more interested in supposedly Malik Willis.
It's just crazy when he was the only one.
Yeah.
Looking field affected. Anyways, sorry.
Malik Willis said that him and his family has been invited over to Tannehill's house and have eaten dinner and stuff like that and watching football. So.
Yeah, he was. I was listening to that interview and he was like, "Yeah, we were there. A bunch of the offensive guys were there. Just hanging out, whatever." He's like, "I didn't even know it was a thing." He's like, it didn't matter that he said that. He's like, "I don't care." He's like, "That's not how he's treating anything. He's not treating me different. Mm-hmm. We're a team. We're doing this together, blah, blah, blah." So, you're talking about the media blowing stuff up. I think that's one of these
Maybe
things.
that's one of those things where, like, however the question was asked, maybe.
I think he's got, like, kind of...
I think he has a little bit of it,
face
too.
/ Right.
I think he has some security. I do believe he has some security issues because this isn't the first time we've heard it. But
the way it
maybe that question was taken out of, or however the question was asked to him because we don't have that context. Like, hey, how are you going to get Malik ready for the season? I don't know. Maybe worry about me getting ready for the season. Mm-hmm. Like maybe it was taken more out of context.
Maybe he got irritated.
I'm like, hold on.
Well, that was the thing though. What he answered. It was kind of like a, 2 or 3 part question. And so he was kind of rambling off about some stuff. And then he happened to go into like, well, it's not my job, to do that. And it wasn't that wasn't the focus. That wasn't the question that was asked. So the fact that they focused on that part of what he said, you know what I mean?
So they took that little excerpt out.
Yeah. It wasn't like malicious. He's like, fuck that guy. You know, it wasn't like that. He was just kind of talking. And it seems like Malik's like, I don't give a fuck. And Malik even said, he's like, well, ultimately it's a competition, right? So we're both going to battle. We're both going to make each other better. And that's the way it should be. So
See at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Wide receiver Jarvis Landry signs with the New Orleans Saints. In related news,
Yeah, I was going to say, do it.
Drew Brees tweeted hinting at possible comeback, likely made in jest, is what Dennis Allen, the head coach, is saying. I think that's him being like nice, like he's hoping, oh my God, please bring Drew Brees back. But he tweeted about him and Tyrann Mathieu. He's like, man, wish I was back. That's kind of how the ball started there. And then there was rumors that he may not be back with NBC next year. Well, there's my son.
Yeah, definitely. That was, man, Saints are going to be dangerous.
I think people aren't looking at them enough, man.
Yeah, they are. You know, how close were they last year to making the playoffs? And they only have made additions. So, I mean, what we'll get out of Drew Brees if he comes back, that I don't know. You know, I don't want it to be a thing where he comes back. And remember how bad Peyton was. Peyton was, you know, in the last, he's throwing ducks out.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like that because I don't want to remember somebody like that.
Which he was already kind of showing little lights of that, right? Because his average depth of pass was like his all-time low that final season of his too.
So
I don't think so. I think his final tweet was like kind of starting to get sarcastic and stuff. Like I could play on the old man PGA Tour, you know, do this, that, and the other. Don't know. Anything's up in the air.
It's got to be intriguing, though. Mike Thomas, if he can come back and be anything about what he was before. Olave, Jarvis Landry, Kamara's got some issues to work through with his lawsuit, whatever the heck he's got.
I got a more intriguing one because we don't want to see him come back, right? We don't want to see him like go down, like plummet off, right? Like you just said. Why is it? Because he understands it so damn well. Why doesn't he just come back to be the offensive coordinator? Is he not a beautiful offensive mind himself?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think they'll be okay even with Jameis.
Oh, I think they will be. I think they've made some moves, you know, that salary cap that doesn't exist, that they shouldn't be able to sign all these cats.
No shit.
Here's the deal, man. I'm listening to people after the schedule came out, and they're talking about Tampa Bay is going to roll over the division. They're going to beat every team in that division twice. I'm like,
do you believe that?
Hold on. Just last year, New Orleans beat them twice. New Orleans has had their number since Tom came. That defense is the same, if not better, this year. Mm-hmm. They've added offensive pieces, like you said. I don't know, man. I think New Orleans could pose a real threat. I don't know in the playoffs, but at least in the regular season.
It'll be interesting to see what they have on the back end. The defensive line and stuff, everything's okay, but you lost two safeties. You're replacing with one. Tyrann Mathieu, he's got an injury history, so can he hold up? Who's going to play on the other side, you know, where Jenkins was? Yeah, so they got a few questions there. You know, I don't know.
I forgot about the other safety.
I don't know if the defense is necessarily better, but they have pieces that they have signed in place. So it'll be, if not, I would think at least be the same. So yeah, I mean, I think where the question mark lies would probably be on that back end of the defense. And I'm not sure who else they have opposite of old boy on the corner. I don't know if Crawley's still there or not, but yeah, there's some question marks on that defensive side, I think. And so I think the offense is more set than it was last year. Last year was all the defense, right, and all the names were there, and it was the offense that was their names are missing, right, and they're playing receivers. You have no clue who they are. So I think it's flipped.
Two pretty decent safeties, though, to try to cover up the corner issue, though. I mean, you obviously brought in Tyrann the menace, and then you have Marcus May that they brought in from the Jets,
That's
too.
who it was.
Okay.
Marcus May.
Yes, Marcus May. I was trying to wonder who they had brought in. But yeah.
To help cover up that little those pieces like that. I'm with you, but the Saints at home are always, that's never a place you want to play, right? Mm-hmm. I'm a Vikings fan. We played there plenty of times. You don't like to play in there. I mean, we have shut them up, but they're
and their receivers last year were all pretty young, right? And so bringing Jarvis in might help develop them a little bit too.
Jarvis and then Olave, and then if you get Michael Thomas, I'm like, offense
is totally flipped.
Jameis,
looking
if he's
good.
healthy. 82 touchdowns, right? So
looking good.
He likes to check.
We're right back on pace. We're right back on pace.
So, yeah. It's going to be a crazy division. I can't wait till we do our picks later on in the summertime. And
that's it. We need to find that schedule thing too. That was sweet. Then you actually line those up, like you said. You line those up and you actually see, like, hold on. I was planning on 12-5, but after going like game by game on that schedule, you find out, oh, actually, I only see 10. You know, kind of cool. Deshaun Watson will meet with the NFL officials this week. Watson, meanwhile, will be hosting several of his teammates in the Bahamas this weekend to work out and bond before the start of the team's OTAs.
Oh, it's a meeting with the NFL. Suspension incoming? Do they hand him a suspension?
Nah, nothing's happened yet. I think they're still going to wait on. I think they're going to wait for these cases to go fully through. I do believe no word's gotten out like how his because he's testified in a few of these. I think he has like 8 more to go that he has to testify in. It's some number like that. I think they're going to wait for the conclusion of that. I think they're going to try to get information that they're not going to get out of him, that you're not already getting from courts anyway.
Yeah,
like it isn't like he's not going to give you anything extra. So I don't know.
It might be like to give him a heads up. Be like, listen, you're going to be out.
It could be. It could be something like that.
Hey,
too.
man, we're gonna
go ahead and hit you with this.
We're gonna hit you with 10. You need to ask for 6. We'll appeal down to 6.
Yeah, you need to ask for 4, or we'll take it down to 6
or something like that. Yeah.
Interesting. It's in the Bahamas though, where that's not exactly a state of the United States. Wonder what the rules are there around masseuse
and anuses
and
and fingers in dark places.
Oh my God, dude! I got a fucked up story for you from my dad. Oh my God!
Is your dad giving him masseuse jobs?
Dude, you will laugh your ass off, and you've met the man. You know shit that would come out of his mouth. Oh my God! We can't do it tonight, so you got to remind me. We're already up against it.
Write it down on your paper.
I will. All right. Masseuses, Jesus. Broncos wide receiver Jerry Jeudy arrested, faces charges of criminal tampering with domestic violence enhancer. So let's make this a little clear.
Yeah.
Because I was confused by this domestic violence enhancer, blah, blah, blah. It was a debate with his baby mama. I don't know if it's his wife or not, but regardless. And he was preventing her from trying to get some of the stuff. Like, as in, like, I don't know, stroller, car seat, some of that.
Formula, her cell phone, stuff like that.
Stuff like that.
She's locked in a car and she cannot get.
Yeah, and she has
access to.
And she has asked for the courts to drop the charges. So, all that being said, I think we've all been in something kind of like
it's
that,
hard.
right?
Yeah, it's hard, man.
Yeah.
As long as you
bad look because the Broncos, with old boy.
I'm not saying it's it's a definitely bad look, but we've all been in some version of an argument with our wives that
she gets heated, especially thinking about your kids and everything too, man. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're not taking my kid from here. It might have been something like that. Yep. As long as you put hands on them. I mean, I'm not saying any of that is okay, but what I'm saying is there was no, to my knowledge, there's no hands on anybody. So the word domestic violence on that.
Yeah, to be in like. I don't know. Crazy wording. It just seemed like they, got an argument. I think everybody does, like you put it. I mean.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Man fulfills fantasy football wager by entering the U.S. Open qualifier and shot a 112.
Do you hear that? I don't know who played with him, but I remember the guy going, he's talking about, he's like, yeah, guy fulfilling. He's like, he was horrible. He was horrible to play with, but I guess at least he fulfilled his end of the deal.
Yeah. I think he lost by like 40 strokes. He was dead last, obviously, but the first place person. He showed up to his tee time and his hole late because he went to the wrong hole, but he fulfilled it.
That is funny.
That is funny. Shot at 112. But goddamn, that'd be embarrassing. Now everybody knows that you suck at fantasy football and at golf, bro.
Dude,
double deucer.
It's true.
Dolphins signed Sony Michel, adding to the deep running back core that includes Raheem Mostert, Chase Edmonds, and Myles Gaskin.
I've kind of underwhelmed. So, is it really deep? I don't know. Look for one of the guys to break out. Hopefully, one of them can actually out there and solidify. Gaskins was running okay,
are they kind of all just the same player? The more I think about it,
really, yeah.
They have flashes of excellence. Now, whether it be injury that knocked them down a notch, or whether it be situation like at the Patriots and they pull you no matter what, just made no sense, and they'd start somebody else or whatever.
Who was that running back for the playoffs that went absolutely apeshit, and then they didn't re-sign him and he never played again?
Who was that?
For the Patriots, running back for the Patriots.
I don't think it was the playoffs, was it? It was like week 1 or something like that. He ran for like 4 touchdowns.
No, I swear it was like postseason. But yeah, anyways, it was just a small sliver of something.
Yeah, just never.
Well, it's kind of like what who was the running back for Miami last year who tore it up at the end of the year, but then he's not with them anymore. Didn't he come over from Houston? Duke?
Duke Johnson.
Yeah, and he's not. He played great in that system. But he's not there, right?
Yeah.
So who knows? Who's got the most potential? Mostert, probably. If he can stay healthy.
If we had fantasy draft right now, which one of those? I don't think you'd take. Maybe you would, Myles Gaskin.
No, I just did that. I made that mistake.
So of those 3, then which one would you take in that? Mostert, Sony Michel, or Chase Edmonds?
I'm not big on Chase. It'd probably be Mostert for me.
Mostert though with that injury, yeah.
Probably
But
Mostert,
is highly impressive when he's out on the field.
Yeah.
And it's like 5 games later, all of a sudden I'm missing like 8 games. I like Sony for whatever reason, but he shows a flash and then you can't count on him. So that one's tough. Like, I don't know. Hopefully some shit gets cleared up by the end of training camp and like definitely before fantasy draft season on that one. I think you want some of that offense, right?
Yeah.
Definitely the run game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 49ers system-esque.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So I wonder if they're going to do that, just run the hot hand each game, right? So you might have 3 different guys to pick from, but you don't know who's going to do it.
Highly irritating,
Yeah.
Former Seattle Seahawks safety Earl Thomas was arrested Friday in his hometown of Orange, Texas, more than 2 weeks after a warrant was issued following his alleged violation of court protective order. Evidently, he was at a restaurant. Someone called him in because they recognized him.
Jesus, dude.
In your own hometown.
Played yourself.
I'm surprised he just didn't turn himself in, though.
Yeah. Right.
That's the first thing I thought of. I'm like, dude, you know who you are. You know,
Right.
You already knew what it was. It's not going away. Go turn yourself in.
Yep.
You have the money to get yourself out.
Right.
Right.
Go see the judge quick, go home. Like, it's not, I don't know. It's weird.
Like, but you're not backed by your hometown. Ouch.
Yikes.
Ouch. Snitches. A day after 10 people were killed and 3 others injured in a shooting at a Buffalo supermarket, Bill safety Mecca Hyde committed to donating a portion of the proceeds from his charity softball game to the families of the victims.
Yeah, I want to just say firsthand, shout out to the Buffalo community and prayers up for, everyone involved in that situation. Mm-hmm. Hats off to Micah Hyde and them reaching out to those families and donating money to them. So prayers up to all those families and people involved.
He was taught right at the University of Iowa. So I'm not trying to make light of it. Prayers up to the family, seriously. Yeah. And it's awesome that people are trying to look out for each other in these ugly times.
Agreed.
Hey, some people are just pieces of shit. Just remember that. At the end of the day,
words of wisdom tonight.
It is like it isn't race based in the sense that some people are just pieces of shit. Okay, that's what I mean. Like, don't judge people off of one person's act is what I'm trying to get at. Because evidently it was a white dude that lined up and shot a bunch of black people.
Yep,
that's one person that is a pile of shit that deserves to die. With all due respect.
Yep, he does.
With all due respect.
No.
No?
Okay.
Fuck that
him.
shit. Fuck that shit. Appreciate you guys.
Fuck him.
Dolphins reach deal with Melvin Ingram to bolster their pass rush.
Yeah, that defense only getting better.
Yeah.
Tell you what, Miami's going to give Buffalo a problem.
That's the reason why I didn't know if we were going AFC East. We're going to end up moving it down to Wednesday. We're going to do NFC North. I think we're going to flip-flop, right? Is that kind of what we're doing?
Flip-flop down. So.
Like conference.
Yep.
So at first, that's what I was thinking. We're going to do East, just going around the clock. And I was like, damn. Not going to put any spoilers out there because obviously we still need to get to the AFC East. So that's going to be it's going to be more competitive than what people think, especially towards the top.
Yeah.
Drew Brees, we already talked about. Jack Nicklaus says Saudi Arabian organizers offered him more than $100 million to be face of the LIV Golf Invitational Series.
I'll do it for like a quarter of that. Let's go. My pretty face. If you haven't seen, I've got a picture of me looking wild. I'll hold a golf club. I don't give a shit. That's crazy money, though.
Over $100 million.
Hold on. So they offered him, and
no.
He said no.
No, I do believe this is early on, like when they ended up going with I think he turned him down, and Greg Norman kind of took that.
Oh, I forgot
Greg,
that too.
because Greg
that's who's there
Norman's
now.
he said he was offered over $100 million to do it.
It's crazy. Crazy.
He's
Jack,
like,
what do you got going on where you can just say no?
Yeah,
If
where are you
it-
going to say no?
have you ever
dude?
seen old thug nasty fucking Jack Nicklaus, baby? I know you've seen that ridiculous putt where he's like talking shit to that dude. He's like,
Yeah.
why don't you just putt that?
Put it like
He's like-
this, and he lines up and he hits it, and it goes all the way across, goes in. He's like, just
Gang, like gang, like fucking,
yeah, and he's like, yeah, do it like that.
just throws his hands up. What's up? Like after he talks shit about that dude not doing it.
Oh yeah, because he's like, why are you taking so long?
He's like putt it. He's like, I'm not gonna putt that. No way you can make that. And it was like hills, too, because it was on the fairway.
Shit.
And sunk it like a boss. Gentlemen, that is what I have for news.
Ooh, what's the weird law tonight?
Where weird law is going to be. We are in Maine.
What's up, man? What up, man?
Where's it at?
So it's northeast. It's up above New York,
It's by Gucci.
almost in
Yeah.
Canada.
Gucci man.
Okay, so this one is more. This touches definitely a little bit of my household, and I know it touches Joey, our good buddy's household for sure. After January 14th, you will be charged a fine for having your Christmas decorations still up
Where is this?
in Maine.
Yeah, Ashley would be fucked. in
Oh
other words.
yeah. Oh, he'd be racking up
Oh yeah.
just year after year. Absolutely.
It's crazy, but well deserved, I think.
Yeah.
Now that I think about
Christmas
it.
done. After January, what? Probably. What are you thinking they should come down? Right after Christmas? Are you talking about like or
You have
January?
till like a week after New Year's. Man, knock that shit off.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be nice on say New Year's. I feel like depends on how early you put them up too, right? If you go way early,
Yeah.
then you
Like-
almost
like
need to
the
do
day after
after.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you almost have to do like the day after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know because I'm still feeling cheery and like holiday-ish.
Are
at
you?
New Year's.
Are you?
I am.
Is that
You know?
after you visited Mike's house?
You know, I get a present.
Yeah.
Something in a box.
Is there a hole in that box?
Yep, and it's a little rectangular. Anyways,
Anyways,
it's crazy world, man. Lots of shapes.
lots of shapes. And that's what I got for that, gentlemen.
Hell yeah.
Boom. So for tonight, we've got a pretty great story. Most of you out there have probably seen the fact that we are giving away 4 free tickets to the North Iowa Fights. By the way, they're a big part of what we got going on because Friday we're going to join Mike and the whole North Iowa Fights crew at Sports Page in Mason City.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to be there for the weigh-ins. We're going to interview fighters. We're going to just enjoy the night with everybody the night before.
Come
so
out.
That's this coming Friday.
Come out, come to meet.
What time the weigh-in start? Jimmer 6?
I think that's
that
what
right?
I think
Yeah.
that's what he was saying. Yep.
Yeah, and Mike's a great guy. He's been dealing with a lot of shit. It seems like he does every time before the fights start with fighters pulling out and all of this craziness. So we definitely want to give them a shout out.
We got a crazy story for next episode of like one of his fighters.
Yeah.
That we're gonna laugh. We already chuckled at, but we'll share it with you next one.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mike and Kathy have been putting in a ton of work to get
Yeah.
this going, and we got to give them props. Definitely make sure you check it out if you haven't. Obviously, most of you haven't won the tickets because these tickets belong to Mr. Eddie Mason. He actually shot us a message, like Rio tells you every single time towards the end of the podcast. You got to slide into the DMs if you want some of these good goods. And Eddie actually sent us a voice recording of a hilarious story. And so he's going to win these tickets.
This is gold, ladies and gentlemen.
This is gold. So pay attention, take notes, and enjoy.
So I got a buddy, right? His name's Ethan. We went to his bachelor party. Well, we started in Iowa Falls bar hopping. We all got liquored up. Me, him, and I think it was about 4 or 5 other of us. We were all getting liquored up there in Iowa Falls at it. And a good friend of ours, Cody, looks at me and says, "Hey, I met this girl in Kentucky." He's like, "I want to go down and see her." We're all drunk. And we said, "Okay, let's go now." So we randomly jumped in a car, drunker than shit, go clear down to Kentucky. We walked.
Oh, sorry, my phone blinked out.
They drove down to Kentucky, baby.
And this dude got catfished by this girl. She sent him all these Snapchat filters, all that. We drove all the way to Kentucky in the middle of the night. And when we got there, this girl catfished him.
Oh,
So he's still drunk enough. He's like, well, I'm at least going to get something out of it. And so he goes inside. We leave to go get more alcohol. We get back. This dude comes running out with Cheetos crushed all over his body. He's got fucking blood coming out of his nose. This girl had a food fetish. And he's screaming at us. And we're like, what happened? So Cody's standing there, naked as Jaybird, in the middle of Kentucky, Lexington. And he's like, this girl climbed on top of me, crushed Cheetos all over my chest, and started humping me.
So hot.
He's like, she wanted me to put Cheetos inside of her.
Oh.
He's like, I don't know what it is. She had this food fetish. So we're trying to get him calmed down, get him back into the vehicle to come back home. And he didn't tell us why he was freaking out was because she put a Cheeto inside of him. It was hilarious. He was screaming, crying, shitting Cheetos. And he told us, you will never tell anybody about this. And we came back the next day. We were supposed to be home that night. We come back the next day at like 9 o'clock at night. My buddy's wife's mad because they're supposed to be having a wedding in 2 days. And Ethan's all messed up. I'm all messed up. Cody's got Cheetos shitting out his ass. And yeah, to this day, Cody still talks to this girl and now has a food fetish. Craziest nights I have ever seen in my life. And I don't think I'll ever go to Lexington, Kentucky again. Because, like, that girl, she was crazy. Like, psychotic crazy. She drove up here to find Cody. And it was not...
And that's what we got, man. Damn.
That is our Make Sense tonight. Also, the
Makes
winner
sense
of
if
the
you don't think
tickets.
about it.
Yeah, so Eddie is going to have 4 free tickets to the North Iowa fights this weekend. It's going to be a great time, and holy shit, if we see him, I'm going to bring a bag of Cheetos.
Oh, yeah, give
These are
this to your
for
buddy.
friend.
We'll get a bow
Hot
on him.
Cheetos.
Hot
Oh,
Cheetos.
man.
Oh.
We don't want to push it too far.
Oh, yeah.
Shit. But that's the winner of the tickets, ladies and gentlemen. So I think that's about time to wrap her up. If you happen to stumble upon the podcast anywhere, make sure to like, subscribe, share the whole thing. The podcast is available where, Jimmer?
Everywhere and anywhere you could possibly get them. And we are talking Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, and iHeart. Facebook for now. Up until in a couple more months. And then anywhere else.
Like 2 weeks.
It's 2 weeks,
Yeah,
it's done.
like June 3rd. I think they're taking them off. So we'll be posting up links to all the episodes on Facebook. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We'll get those up.
Absolutely. And just like Eddie did to give us this story, if you've got something you want us to tell and maybe leave names out, whatever the case, be sure to slide into our
DMs. Make sure you get us that story. We'll get out to all the folks who want to hear it. You know, we do as well. And we can leave names in. We can take them out. It doesn't matter. We just want to have a laugh and let everybody else have a laugh as well. Make sure to stop up at Gentleman's Way in Garner, Iowa, where you can get a haircut. There you can enter our raffle, their 3 Gig Sports raffle. So once you get your haircut, do that, and potentially your next haircut could be on us. Also, if you're into working out, like apparently I look like I have been, make sure you download FitBod.
Ooh.
It'll generate workouts, keep track of them, show you how to do new lifts. Use our code 3GIG for 25% off. And, of course, don't forget to go to King Kong Apparel for bags. We'll get that link posted up so you can get $10 off your bag of your choice.
Absolutely. So I think, ladies and gentlemen, that about wraps her up tonight. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This is 3 Gig Sports.
We out.
I've been writing, I love it.